Hi, I'm Mike from Scoutadelic, and how can a toilet tube turn it into sustainability? Find out. Hi, I'm Mike from Scoutadelic, and this year, spice up your scouting, do something different, subscribe to this channel. Come on, we're a bit far out, but come on, we're trying to get 10,000 subscribers this year, which we're about 1,000 and odd away. And by doing so, it's free, but you're also helping me out, and you get access to all of our videos, and if you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time there's a new video out there, so you won't miss one, because sometimes I don't actually post on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, so you know, it's a way for you to know that there's something out there. Now, this month I met virtually the amazing Jordan, and he taught me about different ways to do sustainability. So, talking about using plants and things that we use around the house, for example, like toilet rolls and egg pots and all that sort of stuff, how we can obviously turn it into a greener, more friendlier place. So, here's what we got up to. What type of skill are you going to teach me and everyone else today?
So as well as kind of being a skill, it's also kind of a lesson that actually stuff that we usually throw away can be reused. And obviously with lots of sustainability talk going on around the world at the moment, reusing is quite an important topic. Mm-hmm. So should we look at how we can plant some things in different items?
Yeah, so obviously like this month is all about like Great Britain and like the Jubilee and everything else. So yeah, what are you gonna what's some things that you can show me?
Interesting you mentioned the Jubilee. Actually there's a big project going on, I'm sure you know about it, called the Queen's Green Canopy. So I thought kind of plants might tie into that ever so slightly.
Just slightly.
They might not. I'll let you make your mind up with that. But shall we start with a loo roll holder?
Oh yeah, well I have my loo roll holder here.
Lots of us will go through these very regular, well, quite regularly perhaps.
What kind of problem? Do you need to phone up a doctor if you're quite regularly using these quite a lot?
So you may go through a few of these in your time. And
yeah, all those people who stored these in the pandemic, well, this is why you're going to reuse them.
So these can actually be really useful for putting plants in. Then the cardboard will biodegrade, so you can put cardboard on compost heaps. Usually if you can put it on a compost heap, it will biodegrade if you put it in some soil.
Nice. Okay.
So you can make like a little plant pocket, and when the plant gets to a certain size, you can put it in a bigger pot or in some more compost. The cardboard around it will biodegrade, and the roots will just grow into the new soil.
Wow. All right. So how do I turn this? Because obviously if I put soil or plant in this right now, it's going to slide all the way down and I'm going to get messy, which usually happens if I'm doing anything with soil or anything like that. But yeah. So what do we need to do? It's
very simple. You'll be glad to hear.
So you glad.
Take the end.
Yep.
You pinch one end in.
Okay.
Then you pinch the other side in. So you kind of make like a little parcel on the end, and it comes out like bunny ears.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then if you fold the bunny ears in,
right,
you've kind of created a lock in the bottom. So you've got your little pot like this. Now, to make it a bit more fun, Mike, I thought we could draw a little face on it, perhaps, before you put your plants in it.
Okay.
So I made one earlier.
Is that why our sharp is?
Yes. Fantastic. So here's one I made earlier that I thought was a bit like me in my favourite colour with green.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've actually made one that's like you. It's got a little bit soggy. I made this one a bit earlier. There's some soil in this already, Mike. And but there you go. There's you with your bit of hair. Unfortunately, the soil is seeping through this. But yeah, it's quite cool. And this succulent, once it's grown into the cardboard, you can put into another pot and let it grow out a bit more.
So like that is obviously getting soggy. Would you worry about that, or how would you? Is that because you maybe watered it too much, or how does that?
That's because I put it in with wet soil. Because it was raining when I took the soil.
I see. Okay.
If you put dry soil in, It depends on the plant. I've used a succulent so that the soil can get dry and it doesn't matter too much. But usually Google has a lot of information on whether plants are good, how much water they need.
So I'm one that, unfortunately, my plants don't tend to be around that long. So are you saying that I should really go with like a succulent? Is that the one that more than likely will survive?
Well, yeah, the plants I tend to go for are plants that don't need too much attention.
Okay.
And actually, succulents are usually quite good, and cacti as well. The more you ignore them, the better they do. So
Nice.
they're good plants to have.
Okay.
And I've got lots of succulents around, and you'll be able to see just behind me here. There's a whole shelf of succulents here that I've not watered for probably over 2 months, and they're doing okay.
So is that how you get away with that? As in you like, hey, look at all my plants. They don't need any water whatsoever, no attention, and you're like, look at me, I'm just really good at this.
Well, they need some water. Obviously all plants need water, but yeah, pretty much. If you go for low maintenance plants, which a lot of plants, to be honest with you, are low maintenance. Although a good test, a good bit of advice is if you have a pot with some soil, tap it with your finger. If you have some soil on your finger, then it's got enough water. If no soil comes up, then you probably need to water it because the soil is too dry to stick to your finger. That's a good test for whether to water your plants or not.
Oh, nice. Well, sir, because obviously, like we mentioned, obviously Queen's Jubilee and
Yes.
the Queen and everything else. So you'll be pleased to know that I have decorated mine. You're going to laugh at it, but I don't care. I think it's quite impressive. I have made the Queen.
That is brilliant.
Thank you. I just need a plant to go in it, and there we are. She
I'm
can.
intrigued at what sort of plant is going to make her hair.
Well, obviously crown-esque. That's what I need. So I don't know. Maybe some sunflowers or something golden.
This one isn't too dissimilar to a crown.
Oh well, there we are. You see.
Maybe did I just give you a crown? Is that what I did?
I need one. I need one for the amount of stuff I do. I definitely need one.
So while we're on the kind of biodegradable you put a plant in and then you can move it on kind of thing, we can also use, if I can find it, egg boxes. If you grab your egg box, you can cut one of the egg kind of compartments out.
Okay. Yeah.
And make your own little pot, isn't it? I suppose.
Yes, that's very true.
So there we go. We've got a little pot there.
Yeah.
Now they aren't too high, so you kind of, the sides are a bit flimsy. So you kind of want plants that don't need too many roots. So usually new plants, like this little succulent, which is quite new, and I've used to put in an egg box just to get the roots started before putting it into a new pot. So you can also leave it as one big egg box and put some soil in and have a seed in every kind of bit, every egg compartment.
Okay.
Or you could use the top bit as a tray and just have a load of seeds. So like if you're growing cress, you might just want to scatter seeds over kind of a big area. So you can do that on the big edge. And although it's biodegradable, so it may not last that long if you keep watering it. If you've got another little tray to put it in, it's quite handy to hold some soil and grow some plants quite quickly. Rather than throwing these things away, because some of what we recycle and put into our recycling systems isn't recyclable. And so the more we can reuse, the better, really, because actually we're using energy to recycle, whereas we aren't to reuse. So it's very important to make sure that we are reusing as much as we can, as well as recycling.
Is there anything else that people can use instead of, so if they want to do like toilet bowls, are there any other examples or any other things that they can reuse and recycle like we were talking about?
Yeah, good question. So you can use all sorts, and actually if you want to use stuff that isn't quite as biodegradable, so you might want to keep a plant in it for slightly longer. For example, you may have a plastic bottle.
Okay.
Now, you may think, how are you going to get a plant in there? Very simple. You grab a pair of scissors, you cut the bottle, and you end up with something that slightly may resemble a pot.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is put some soil in the bottom, put a plant in, and you can cut the bottle as low as you like, as high as you like, and that's quite cool. And actually, if you want the bottle a bit lower, you can cut strips out of the plastic and use them as labels for your plants in the pots.
Nice.
So you can use like a Sharpie or another type of pen, other brands are available, to write on the plastic what plant you've just put in your new bottle or bottles.
That's brilliant. Okay, so there's plastic bottles as well then. Anything else?
This is probably quite a common one, and I know a lot of people who do this, but you can use tins. Quite simple. If you want to put a drainage hole in the bottom, you can drill a hole with parental help, please. But you can use tins. That's a really great sustainable way to reuse. And you aren't using plastic pots. And another really cool one that I've started to try to work out is glass, which obviously we need to be careful with. Last summer, I think it was, I went for a cream tea with a friend, jam first, and I'll
let you off with that one. I had to think then for a second. I was like, yeah, that's right.
It is #jam first. We got given these little glass jars with jam in them. So when I got home, I decided to try to grow a succulent in this little glass jar, and it worked. So, you can grow plants in almost anything. And I think that's kind of the key message, isn't it? That you can reuse, but on a total opposite end of the spectrum. So we've got this little glass, which, I could fit inside one hand, to a slightly larger jar.
Wow.
Now, if you edit that well, Mike, that will look really cool.
Have you seen? I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm not that good at editing.
You know what you're doing. So we've used some leftover stones from the garden, put some soil on top, and grew some succulents inside. Now, I wouldn't claim this is a terrarium. They need mosses and all sorts of fancy stuff. But this is quite a cool way of just kind of presenting some plants. These have been in here since October, and they're still growing. So it kind of worked.
It's great. It gets young people to sort of look at reusing things, and it's a great way of actually creating something brand new, like a plant or cress, or thinking about different objects and how they can actually turn that into something of beauty, like with little plants that you've got there. So that's nice.
Absolutely. I think it's important to remember that being sustainable can be fun. It doesn't have to be expensive as well. And everybody can get involved with it. So hopefully there are some ideas. I guess as much as being a skill, it can contribute obviously to the planet, but also if you grow green things, like every time I walk into this room, I feel good. And I think, like you asked in the 60-second Scouter, it can improve your well-being. So you're doing something good for the planet. You're doing something that's good for the plants, you're doing something that's good for you. So, it's kind of benefiting lots of different things in lots of different ways.
If you like that video, then don't forget to obviously give it a like and share it around. Go on. Some people haven't probably watched the episode. And I'll see you again soon for another one of these. Bye.